Will you hurt me again? You might, but no one else knows what I like. Underneath, you're still a friend. Many lifetimes now you've been. Well, I may say I've had enough. My mind may change even when made up. 'Cause every day's a new day for love. Living in magic can be tragic. I'm love's junkie, I'm love's addict, and you've been too if you ever had it. I got a real bad habit. I stole the light from my eyes, drawed it up like fireflies. Start the day, salutation and smile. Then work your way to tribulation and trial. Well, I may say I've had enough. My mind may change even when made up. 'Cause every day's a new day for love. Living in magic can be tragic. I'm love's junkie, I'm love's addict, and you'd be too if you ever had it. I got a real bad habit. Living in magic can be tragic. I'm love's junkie, I'm love's addict, you'd be too if you ever had it. I got a real bad habit. I may say I've had enough. My mind may change even when made up. 'Cause every day's a new day for love.
What an incredible privilege. It's such a treat to have you here, Sonny War. Thank you for coming and joining us and lighting up our beautiful environment with your amazing music, your incredible songcraft, and I just love the way that you perform this material, particularly in this intimate setting. It's so beautiful. Solo, I've been loving your album Anarchist Gospel so much, with gorgeous arrangements and great production. It's so beautiful to hear you just all alone with your guitar and your voice.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
That song, New Day, it's an amazing tune. There's a lot of darkness in it, as there is on a lot of this record, but I find it oddly hopeful. Where were you coming from emotionally in writing that one?
That song was kind of like me and my ex broke up, and then we kind of had started trying to hang out again. So it was pretty much about like a new date. Like you always have kind of this lingering forgiveness that you're willing to give all the time. I think that's like love just makes you like crazy. Like you're just willing to. That's why I think the chorus, like believing in magic, like you kind of have to believe in magic to really be in that.
There's a lot of, I don't know, would it be fair to say that this album is kind of a heartbreak record to some extent?
Yeah, definitely.
And
It's a breakup album.
yeah, right. And your relocation from the LA area where you more or less grew up and learned to play to Nashville and making this record there. How's that been? Because you originally come from Nashville, right? And that's where you learned to play guitar.
Yeah, I haven't lived there since I was 12. So this was my first time living there as an adult. And it was weird. And when I first got to Nashville, because I ended up living in the same neighborhood I went to kindergarten in. And it was like, I was walking around, and then I ended up telling my mom, I was like, this place seems really familiar. And because I lived by this park they called the Dragon Park, because it has like this big dragon. It's really cool. It's a really cool looking dragon.
All right.
But I remembered it, and my mom was like, yeah, you went to school there. Like, you're right that's where your school is.
Wow.
And it was just like, I just randomly ended up living right in that area.
Amazing.
So it was like very like, just kind of weird. It felt weird. I don't know.
Did it take you back to like when you were first learning to play music and picking up guitar? Because you were pretty young, right?
Yeah. Well, I started playing when I was 7.
Oh.
And there I used to play on the stoop of our apartment. I saw that place again too.
Wow.
Yeah. And there used to be a cat he was like a stray cat, but he used to hang out with me there. There's like a lot of weird memories that came up when I went back to Nashville.
That's amazing stuff. And like being that young and picking up the guitar, it seems like a really specific choice for somebody of that age. Do you remember what it was that inspired you to do that for the first time, to start learning to play?
Well, my stepdad was in a band. So he was in a rock band. He's still technically in the band. And we used to go to this guy Blue's house, who was also in the band, but he was also the producer. And he recorded my stepdad. But at Blue's house, it was like he had guitars all over the wall. Like his whole house was just full of instruments. And then me and my mom and my stepdad would go there, and they would be recording all day. So it's like I was just already around musicians all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just like I would just want to try what I see people playing guitar every day.
And I mean, you're surrounded by music growing up. You start playing guitar. How much did the music that inspired you and that you wanted to play when you were a little kid, how much did that resemble like what you're doing right now as a musician?
I think, like, by the time I was 12, I was really into AC/DC, like, really, like, and I liked Guns N' Roses a lot.
Nice.
Like, before I ever heard punk music, I just was really into, like, classic rock. And then I was convinced that I was going to be Angus Young. And I learned, like, every AC/DC song.
Wow.
Like, I was obsessed with AC/DC.
Oh, do you think you can still play them?
Yeah, well,
a little bit.
Not on this guitar.
No, that's okay.
On a different guitar. When I get drunk at home, I have a Gibson, and I play Slayer songs, and I play AC/DC.
Wow.
And it's like it's for like the teenager in me,
yeah,
I guess.
Right.
But I think that I still like. When you memorize somebody's riffs, you kind of inherit their style a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I applied a lot of Angus Young stuff to my songs, even if it's folk music.
Love that.
I use the same riffage.
Right, totally, yeah. And I mean, I hear so many different like textures and styles and different kinds of voices coming out in your guitar playing. You mentioned that you kind of went from like AC/DC and Guns N' Roses into Slayer. And where did your teenage years take you in terms of your like musical interests?
Really, my whole life changed when I was 13 and I heard Bad Brains.
Okay.
And it changed my life.
Yes.
Then after that was the beginning of the end. After I heard Bad Brains, then it was like a month later I had a mohawk. Then I got a tattoo. Then I remember I told my mom, I told her I'm getting a tattoo after school. And she laughed at me. But I think she underestimated, like, how up LA is. Like, because I was 13, so she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, no, for real, I'm getting a tattoo after school today. And she was like, okay, sure. And I came back with the tattoo, and she was like, how did you get a tattoo? I was like, they don't give a how old you are. I just went and got a tattoo. Then next thing you know, I got PMA for vibrance.
Oh, wow.
Positive mental attitude.
Wow, positive. Yeah. Amazing.
I was obsessed with Bad Brains. I was a little kid.
Real quick, favorite Bad Brains album, if there's somebody listening to this that hasn't heard them before?
Well, it's very controversial, but my favorite Bad Brains album is Rock for Light.
Yeah.
But a lot of people,
right.
Bad Brains fans don't like that album.
No.
Because they don't like they say it's overproduced or whatever. But to me, it sounds sick. I'm like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect. But that's like, people that don't like crossover, they don't get it. Like, I like DRI, and I like their weird metal stuff too.
Yeah,
so it's like, I feel like it gets, like, punks don't like, they don't all like crossover. That's like a whole different thing.
It sure is. And right. And there's crossover in spades in what you do too, right? Like, Bad Brains is all about like punk rock and hardcore and dub reggae and all kinds of stuff. And like in your music, there's so many different musical crossroads going on.
Well, there was jazz fusionist.
Yeah.
But you can hear it.
Yeah.
You know? But it's same as the Minutemen or jazz musicians.
So how did you get from loving Bad Brains to doing what you do now? Like, what was the transition from, that kind of high wattage riffage on electric guitars to this like very spacious, often acoustic based style of songwriting and musicality?
Well, it was because I went to a music high school, Hamilton High School in Culver City, and you have to audition. Like, so I auditioned for the school. You have to play acoustic. And then I was in a jazz program in the school, so I was learning a lot of, like, we were playing just traditional standards and stuff.
Right.
And then, like, that's where I met a lot of my friends. Like, I met Elvis from Fiddler, from the band Fiddler. We went to the same high school, and we were friends.
Wow.
He was like my only friend, like, for the first 2 years of high school, and then but it's like, he was also, it was him, and then there was this guy, Dustin. Like, we were all in the jazz program, but it was like, they got me into, like, ragtime, and they got me into, like, we were, like, getting into blues and getting into, like, but it was also because we were getting graded and stuff, so we kind of had to learn. It was like a history lesson. Yeah. So I think then that's when I started listening to Chet Atkins. And then I started listening to Mississippi John Hurt, and then I got really into blues. And then it was like I was still going to punk shows. I still love punk rock, but it was like I was appreciating the craft of guitar playing. Wow. So I was like trying to learn about just every era of guitar. Like, sometimes it's like listening to like old blues and just being like, this was recorded before people even had electric guitars. Yeah, like, really, like, embracing that, I think it's important, like, just to be like, this is, like, the foundation of everything that you could listen to.
I love the song Whole that is on this record. It's just an incredible piece I feel like it brings everything to kind of like an amazing conclusion somehow emotionally, and it's I found it very grounding. Is it in some way a message to yourself or to somebody else? Is the song a way of trying to broker a peace with something?
That song came like, it was like, okay, after I broke up with my ex, we had an apartment together, and I still had to stay there because he moved out, but I still had to finish the lease. Both of us were on the lease, but I had to finish. We couldn't stay there together. We tried that at first, and we were just fighting too much. So he left, and he took my dog, too. He took our dog.
Ouch.
And then, so basically, I was drinking myself to death. I was trying to kill myself drinking. And then my stepdad ended up coming over. Then it was like, he was like, I've never seen you like that. Like, he was like astonished by how much he never saw that before. But that's when I wrote Whole. It was like when I had started going to AA meetings after my stepdad came and threw away all my booze, and like there was also a thing. I don't have a driver's license, and I was already planning to move to Nashville after I finished the lease, and my mom was trying to help me get my license, so she was picking me up every morning, like really early in the morning, so we could practice driving like while there was no traffic and stuff. And like there was one night, or not, it was morning, and she came, and I told her, I was like, I'm kind of drunk from last night, like, and then she was like, well, you can't drive my car today, you could get a DUI. Like, she was like, you can't drive like that. And then I felt really bad because she was coming there every morning before work just to try to help me get a license before I moved out of town. And then, like, so I couldn't go to the driving lesson that day. And then I felt really bad, and then I started trying to get sober again, which never really lasts long enough because I don't like that either. I don't like either one. I don't like...
Right.
But that's what Hold came out of that. Don't you work yourself to death. Take a break from the man-made head to catch your breath today. Could be the last you know. Have to tell you where to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. And don't you fake no smile if it ain't true. Christ said, I'm sure he's it, but you're the only you today. Could be the last you know. Have to tell you where to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. Don't you worry, child. Don't hold no stress. Don't let nothing steal your smile. This world's a mess today. Be the last you know. Have to tell you where to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. And don't you waste it, babe. Don't waste no time. Protect your heart and soul. Protect your mind today. Be the last you know. Have to tell you where to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. Tell you where to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. Today could be the last you know. Have to tell you where to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole.
Album is so much about like two things coexisting together, or like
Yeah.
duality, or like push-pull, like you're an angel, you're a demon, even the title, Anarchist Gospel, it's kind of like you got these two things that have to uncomfortably either take turns or
I think those things go together, though.
yeah.
Because
Right.
I feel like gospel is just a word, it's just spiritual music.
Mm-hmm.
So anarchism is just spirit, really.
And anarchism is kind of like key to the whole punk rock thing, right?
Yeah, at first,
Yeah.
until you get older, and then you realize it's bigger than that. I think punk rock is a gateway drug. Anarchism is the bigger thing. Is like you become an activist.
Right.
And then it gets deeper. Then you start reading stuff from hundreds of years. It's bigger than music.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Anarchy's before music. But that's, to me, it's like, anarchy is more about freedom. It's about actually believing in freedom in real life.
Yeah.
And wanting people to have agency over their own lives and bodies and stuff. It's like, it's just really simple. It's just automatically anti-capitalist because money doesn't even, it's not, that's second, it's like stuff that people make up and invent, you know what I mean? It's not real life. It's like I feel like anarchy is about believing that you should be able to live as freely as a bird or any animal. Like, we just created this weird thing, but it's just made up. So it's just really believing that we have a right to be here, and there shouldn't be anybody else telling you what you can and can't do. But then people say, well, you gotta have police, you gotta have hospitals, you gotta have this. And the thing is, you're gonna defend yourself and your family no matter what. You don't need a police officer. Like, people say, what if something happens and you gotta call a cop? It's like, you can call your friend, dude. You don't have, you know what I mean? They're just people too. Even though they're messed up, they're just people.
Yeah.
Everybody acts like government is not people. It's like, they're just people.
Yeah.
Anything that's provided, we're doing it. We're the ones doing everything.
And it feels
we're
like
doing it.
you've kind of always it feels to me like, from what I know, you've kind of always walked your own road and just done what feels most natural to you right from the time that you were like a teenager and making your living, like busking on the beach at Venice, California.
I had to bus because, I think I broke my earring.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, I had to busk because I got a job. I got my first real job, and I was working as a janitor full-time at a mall.
Yeah.
And I was working full-time, and I could finally afford to pay my rent. It was the first time I was kind of stable, but I was so depressed. And I couldn't play shows anymore. I couldn't do anything. So it was like the only reason I started working that job was because there was like this weird period where it was really windy and really cold, and I couldn't busk. Like you couldn't even be outside. The winds were so strong. So I was like, I gotta get a job. And I got a job, and then I worked there for a while, and then I got so depressed. I had never experienced that kind of, because it was like, even though on my days off, I was too tired from the job to even play guitar. So I was like seeing it. I was like, if I keep working this job, I'm never going to play guitar again. And I didn't. It was my first separation from guitar. So I never experienced that pain before. I didn't realize that I had to play. I had to play at that point.
And today might be your last, right? So happy is the way you ought to go, I suppose, right?
So I had to quit the job and just, I was like, I guess I'm just going to be a busker. But then I started like selling CDs, like trying to be a little more professional about it, like, because I was trying to get gigs.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had business cards. It started working though, because people did call me. They invited me to play at clubs and stuff. It was just like, I just had to keep trying and just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's been a very long and very unusual road that you have walked, and it's such a beautiful artistic journey that you've described with your music, and I'm so touched that you're here joining us, and we love the record so much, and so happy to see the amazing things that you've been doing lately too, like you've had a chance to perform alongside and to meet some truly amazing musical figures. Is there anybody like really stands out to you that you've had a chance to encounter musically?
Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, yeah.
I got to play with Bonnie Raitt.
That was just in Austin, Texas, right?
Yeah. And we did a song at the end of her taping.
Oh.
It hasn't come out yet, but at the end of her Austin City Limits taping, we do a song together. We do a pop staple song, World in Motion.
Oh, that one kills me.
And then that was really cool because my mom was a big Bonnie Raitt fan, so I heard her my whole life. So it's just like, and then to hear her live, the way they sound, her band, I think she's been having the same band for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Decades.
But that song, the song I Can't Make You Love Me, hearing it live, it sounded like tape. It sounded like it was like, I don't know. And it's like, I'm starting to really get into like, because I'm trying to become a producer. So I'm getting more into sound, but I was like, I couldn't believe they sounded like that live. It was like you were inside of the record.
I'm seeing a gleam in your eye, like I
it was
feel
crazy.
the emotion. Yeah.
It was like something. It was like, okay, she could only sound like that because she's been playing for 40 years.
Right.
It's like it was just like so like the band. It was fire.
Well, Sonny War, it is such an amazing, it's so magical to have you here. Thank you for coming and doing this with us. We're so overjoyed to get a chance to share in your music with you and to have you perform in this beautiful and intimate way and share from the heart about your artistic journey as well. We're so grateful.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Good intentions that you keep don't change the fact that you're a beast. Better than most, to say the least. A perfect man-made masterpiece. You're an angel, and you're a demon. You got no wrong, you got no reason. Some things that you regret, the ones you love most you upset. You haven't got forgiveness yet, 'cause you're an angel and you're a demon. You got no right, you got no reason. Your back trying to behave to your best self, you are a slave. You can't sleep in the bed you made till you let go and find a cave. 'Cause you're an angel and you're a demon. Got no right.